Well, boys, the madness continues. Welcome everyone back into another edition of the Schmo Table. I'm Shake and Bake here with Rainman and Divock per usual. And guys, we had a fun weekend of basketball, didn't we? Leading up to next weekend's Final Four.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Can we figure out how to get some like opening music in here to make it sound more professional next time? Like maybe some like that's something like this song that they're playing on CBS. You know,
We
with,
should
like,
just get the
Maroon 5, or maybe some like
let's just get Maroon 5.
how about
You
some
mean
Run
Coldplay?
or Coldplay, whatever. I think it's Coldplay. That's who it is. You're right, Coldplay. My bad, my B. But or maybe some like One Shiny Moment. How about that?
Just every time.
The ball is tipped. There you are. Okay.
You want to just serenade it? Do you want? How about you just lead in Divock and you can just
I need Greg Gumbel to lead me in.
Okay. And also arrange that.
But yeah, for next March Madness for the future.
For the Final Four, we'll soup it up for the Final Four.
That's the promise of the fans. One shiny moment, lead in March Madness 2018. Be ready.
Be
ready. Okay.
Unlike a lot of teams were this weekend for this game, so there were like, I feel like for as many good finishes and good games there were just like, let's get like the crappy boring ones out of the way.
Okay.
Kansas's game against Purdue was not fun. Butler losing to UK or losing to UNC was not fun. Shit. The LeVar Ball Bruins and Kentucky was not all that fun.
Not that fun.
Not that fun. Expected that to be way more fun, especially because my March Madness bracket hopes are not dead because my bracket's perfect, but are essentially dead because one of my brackets isn't perfect, unfortunately.
I was really, really surprised by the UCLA performance because I was on my way to a bar and the girl in my lift next to me, who didn't even fill out a bracket, nor did she know who was even in the basketball tournament, she said she liked UCLA to beat Kentucky. And then other people would ask me, and I'd say, you know what? The girl in the lift next to me said UCLA, so that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah,
so I was really surprised.
That whole team, then, obviously just because of what we've been talking about since it's the LeVar Ball Bruins, Lonzo Ball's poor play that night is the only thing that people are going to look at. But that whole team just wasn't playing well. I mean, Kentucky just disrupted any offensive flow that team had. And as we all know, if UCLA can't play their offense, they can't win games.
Yeah.
Kentucky's defense was
stifling,
far and away stifling, and I should note the girl in the lift next to me was not LeVar Ball. I should put that out there.
That is probably a lot of the reason that UCLA did not win.
Is LeVar? It is because of LeVar?
No, because she wasn't LeVar.
Oh,
she was LeVar. And probably would have been fine.
Good point. Do you think LeVar was a distraction for the Bruins? Like, I know Lonzo plays it off as like a LeVar being LeVar type of situation. But,
absolutely, they haven't had to deal with LeVar their entire lives.
No.
Like, you get used to that shit. Your dad hypes himself up as like the best one player. You're like, okay, that's just LeVar being LeVar. But you got to deal with him as your teammate's dad, who's putting promises on you, and like.
Well, that's the thing is yes and no. I'm not one of the people who's kind of in the circle that when parents are saying all this stuff, especially or like anything, just because of how overblown we are, and as we are sitting here contributing to the overblowing of mass media information. And, just nitpicking every little thing here and there and fucking everywhere that, like, I don't feel like TJ Leaf gave a shit that Lonzo Ball's dad was talking about how good UCLA was. Because if I'm on a team at a high level, like, I'm thinking we're pretty fucking good too. And as long as Lonzo Ball is delivering me alley-oop passes or hitting me on passes in the corner, I don't really care because then it's on me to make the shot. Like, LeVar Ball, if I'm anyone besides Lonzo Ball, does not bother me.
Yeah, no, I mean,
obviously it doesn't bother his kids either. So
yeah,
right. I mean, I don't know if it does or it doesn't, but like he didn't perform well in that game. That's still not going to drop him out of a top 3 pick. But I like blaming his dad.
Top 3 pick.
Yeah,
De'Aaron Fox played like a starting point guard. and point guard in that game, and he just got the better of Lonzo. That's just how
it wasn't. It was interesting though that he went on like First Take like 2 days before.
Yeah.
To like fight with Stephen A. Smith about, or just like drop the most. The best part is how he just drops the most like ridiculous bullshit out there, and Stephen A. Smith will like react to it like it's like just.
That's been Stephen A. Smith's job since he was
great.
Bayless.
It's great. He just plays right into his hands. He's like, that's just great. But enough about LeVar.
Blasphemous.
How could you be so blasphemous, Kwame Brown? But let's get into some other stuff besides LeVar Ball.
Yeah, let's talk about how I assume that we all went a little nuts when Florida hit that shot against Wisconsin because that was just fun.
That was amazing. Yeah, it was the same shot, which is amazing. I thought his name was Chorizo for the entire game. I was calling him Chorizo. And someone else was calling him like mini Matt Barnes. I thought he looked like Matt Barnes with all those like tattoos or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was crazy.
I was in the back of the cab because, of course, we're stupid and left right before halftime. Left right before overtime, thinking we'd get where we were trying to go before overtime happened. But that's what's great about technology and the fact that I have a problem with not being able to look away from my phone. So
right.
Yeah.
And everyone should just start shooting from like the 3-pointers from like the free throw line now. Like jumping to the free throw line and releasing it from there.
Seems to make sense.
Yeah, do it closer. Why not? It worked twice.
I mean, that finish was great. Obviously, Florida lost today to South Carolina, so that shot ends up being erroneous. But it's just a great March moment either way.
Oh,
not erroneous, irrelevant.
Not irrelevant or erroneous, because if Wisconsin won, maybe they are in the Final Four. Yeah.
Truth.
Yeah.
Truth.
How about Frank Martin? All those great Kansas State teams, he couldn't get there, and now he just South Carolina.
Did anyone else? And I also didn't realize that this is already Frank Martin's 5th year in South Carolina. Feels like he's been there about 2.
He built a team there. We all had them losing the first round. Fucking Marquette.
We all did. Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't know anything about them.
The last time I saw them, I was watching Alabama's listless offense beat them. So,
No, but I mean, honestly, something I do have to give credit for is their defense has been phenomenal. I mean, their perimeter defenses, they just no one can get shots off, clean shots from beyond the arc. And, Sin Davis is working incredibly. Thornwell's working incredibly. The entire team's working incredibly. I just want to say all around, like, an amazing effort and incredible display of defense.
I mean, their second half. I mean, the first half was not quite what they've been accustomed to. Florida shot 7 for 12 from 3, I think, or something like that, and then 0 for 15 probably.
Yeah. So they didn't make any.
Yeah, that's Frank Martin. I mean, the bottom line is like you don't want to like play bad for Frank Martin because he'll like slit your throat if you do. So like that's the main.
He'll leave you in the middle of Biscayne Bay.
Basically, like he gets scarier by the minute.
About to say like angry Frank Martin is actually Dexter from Dexter, and he's
yeah, right.
He's I can't remember the guy's nickname, this killer's nickname in Dexter, but like anyway,
Nice Truck Killer.
That's
or the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Bay Harbor Butcher. Thank you.
The Bay Harbor. No, it's like from Frank. Did you see him answer that like kid's question on the SI?
Yeah.
He's kid, that's a fucking good question.
Yeah. I've been coaching a long time and I've never heard a question like that.
Yeah. Even like today watching the celebration videos, he was just like, I was like, I feel like he's about to scream at his kids, but he's actually just really happy.
It's great. I love Frank Martin.
Yeah. Good for him. Man. Quality dude. Much respect.
He deserved it. He deserved it. He's been a good coach for a while. So let's get to that lower region there, that west region.
With the Zags and Zona choking.
Zags and Zona choking. Zags finally over the hump with they got the mountain down low.
Yeah.
Sandor Clegane down low, and
wait,
Zona.
pre or post Poison Death, like current Mountain or like Mountain when he wasn't a blue zombie.
Mountain 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 before he was a zombie
Okay.
robot.
All right.
Right, with the beard. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
That's Karnowski.
Yes.
So and then Zona choking. There's 7-point lead away with 2 minutes left.
So what was it? That was Thursday night. Thursday night, I was sitting right here in my room,
Right.
watching that game. 2 minutes left, I think it is, and Xavier gets down 7 or 8 points. It's like 61 to 68, something like that, or about to go up 70, And I was like, oh, well, time for bed. I've got work tomorrow, And again, I literally turn off my TV, roll over, and about 2 minutes later, less than 2 minutes later, I get a notification on my phone, which is just what you want to hear before you right before you fall asleep, and it's like upset alert, Xavier down like 72 to 71. I was like, well, gotta turn the TV back on.
Okay, so I was looking. I'm sorry, shake a bit, but I was looking for someone to blame for my Arizona loss. And I say my Arizona loss, 32 to 1 odds.
I think it was ours, as we all picked Arizona on last week.
It was ours. It was ours, but it was also personally.
He had a bet.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
And shake and bake, that sounds like it's all your fault.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's that I would have been a bad Cincinnatian if I had not turned my game back on.
Apparently, Sean and Archie Miller's dad was really upset after Arizona lost to Xavier, and then Archie came up and was like, "Yo, Dad, I just got offered Indiana," and he's like, "Oh, that made him happy again." But if you're an Arizona faithful, you can't be happy with that performance. That was just a.
Has anyone checked in on Schmo, like the guy that we're doing all this for? Is he alive? Do we know?
Schmo's alive. He was terribly disappointed, and I think his words were the level of disappointment and frustration cannot be explained, I think was what he said.
That is a cool revenge game for Xavier. While our fearless leader, it really is.
Sean Miller was very popular in Cincinnati, so watching him have all the success in Arizona and Xavier has some good teams, but not really show up in March. It's been frustrating for a lot of friends I know who are diehard Xavier fans.
Yeah, I mean they didn't really show up the next game either, but Gonzaga just lift them up.
Yeah, that was just Gonzaga's on a mission, and I believe in it's one of those things where like you keep saying like I don't want to jump on the bandwagon just because that's when the bandwagon's finally going to end for Gonzaga, but Gonzaga's just on a tear. They're on a mission.
They really are.
They might be the most balanced team of any of these 4 teams left.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing about as much as my bracket and all of our brackets have kind of suffered, like the coolest thing is.
I don't know what you're talking about. Mine's perfect.
All right, fine. All of ours are perfect. Anyway, so, having 2 teams that have never made the Final Four and one that last made it in 1939, that's exactly what March Madness is supposed to be. The first 2 weekends were. But I mean, the first
great
2
games, nothing, no crazy upsets.
No crazy upsets.
The first weekend. The first weekend, there were no crazy upsets. There were no buzzer beaters. There were no
It just seemed like the winners were the top seeds were going to win. It was going to be a march to the end, but then all of a sudden, all of these crazy upsets and the Florida last second shot, the UNC last second shot that just happened. I mean. It's finally gotten its kick. I don't know. The first weekend was kind of
made up for it.
Definitely made up for it.
Divock, I believe you had since we're talking about Arizona blowing it. It can't be stated enough that how much Kansas I think blew it too. So Divock, I believe you wanted to talk about who choked harder, who choked something down their throat way harder. Was it Kansas or was it Arizona?
Well, considering Kansas had much better odds to win the whole thing than Arizona heading in, and also looked like the odds-on favorite after their first 3 games, that was the best team in the country, no doubt, heading into Elite Eight, right?
Yeah, I mean they destroyed Purdue as they should have.
So you would think. I mean, Arizona choked the game away more because they literally had the game and blew it. But Kansas, I think they choked as hard as they have, probably, man, that I can remember a Kansas team choking, and they've choked quite a bit.
They are they're an Elite Eight like choke every year. Like it's 5 of the last 7 that they've missed, that they've gotten to the Elite Eight, but not actually made it past. Like that's an accomplishment for a lot of schools, but for Kansas, when you've won the Big 12 for 13 years straight, and like you own one of the best conferences in the country, and you can't make it past the Elite Eight, that's got to be really disappointing.
I'll say I didn't realize that until yesterday. I was watching the game with two buddies of mine who went to Mizzou and hate Kansas more than they like Missouri. It's just border war. It's how it is.
Right.
That Bill Self is, I believe, actually only made it in 14 years, made it to 2 Final Fours. Went to the national title both years, but
he did win once.
He did win once.
But you're right, Ray Man. Like, I don't say that a lot, but Rain Man, like, you're right. And they just choke it away in the Elite Eight all the time.
Yeah, I should say I think the VCU loss that they lost, that team was better, and that loss was worse.
Yeah.
So I would say this isn't the worst choke job they've done.
Well, Oregon has just come out and been spectacular too. And before we get to Kentucky and UNC, I want to talk about the Dukes. The Dukes are just they're playing spectacular basketball, and I think the biggest player of the crew of their team who stepped up is Josh Bell.
He was almost doing a triple double with blocks there.
Yeah,
close.
He was not only just the blocks, but just being like an effective post player. As before, he was kind of just an on-ball defender and a space eater, and with Boucher there the whole season, and he has just been a beast. Like, he was great against Michigan. He threw Mo Wagner way off his game. He held DJ Wilson. DJ Wilson didn't have to guard him that much, but when he did, like, he just moved DJ Wilson out of the way to go get offensive and defensive boards. Josh Bell has been, so far, at least to me, the player of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, his performance against Mo Wagner, like, just shutting him down, especially after the game he had before against Louisville, like, he just shut him down. I mean, he was completely ineffective.
Did not have a good shot that entire game.
He was rendered completely ineffective.
Yeah,
and that alone should merit like a lot of being able to look at him. But he's done so much more for that Oregon team, especially since Boucher went down.
Yeah,
and then you had Tyler
Dorsey.
Tyler Farouk Madorsey, I was calling him. Shooting daggers. Oh my God, is that guy on fire?
He's on fire, and the thing is, like, they're doing this without their best player, Dylan Brooks, being all world right now. He's not playing like a superstar, and it doesn't matter. Oregon's playing great team basketball.
That Oregon UNC game is going to be, and I said Oregon because I'm from Chicago. Oregon. That Oregon UNC game is going to be a barn burner.
I agree. But then let's move on to, since Rain Man is the only one who picked UNC, and he is celebrating about it, and it's all hype as fuck, blah, 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 fuckity blah. UNC, UNC Butler, boring. Kentucky UCLA, disappointing. That game today, holy shit.
Yep.
Wow.
That was a perfect March game. So you got your buzzer beater that you wanted, Rain Man. Malik Monk hit that 3. I mean, and that's the thing. And the other thing is, like,
you know what?
That Rain Man, and I'll retort.
So one of the coolest things, I mean, if you're a Carolina fan, is that happened in reverse. Marcus Page made that double clutch 3-pointer in the national championship game to tie it up, and then Chris Jenkins sank it to sink them. So it must be nice to have the roles reversed this year. To have that momentum going in. I think Arkansas really rejuvenated them. I think Malik Monk looked incredible. Those 3, he made 3 threes where he was completely just everyone was all over him. But him and De'Aaron Fox were largely ineffective. And I think that they took them out of the game.
If you look at the box
for their
score,
regular standards.
And Rayman, I'm glad you brought this up, because if you look at the box score and you watch the game, neither team actually played very well.
No, it was a sloppy game.
Terrible.
And
Played
and
terrible.
I think that based on the fact that North Carolina did not play that well and is better than that game is, and might very well play better and shoot better than they did against Kentucky, against Oregon. But they're just lucky that Kentucky, Malik Monk had 2 fouls early in the game, so he was on the bench, but that Kentucky as a whole is a bad three-point shooting team, and they didn't have a bunch of guys who could just come in and drill threes. While there was a point in the game early in the second half or end of the first half, early second half, where Kentucky missed 12 straight shots. Turned the ball over, missed 12 straight shots, and couldn't get and got offensive rebounds.
And UNC did the same thing.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. UNC. Did I say UK? I meant UNC.
You said UK.
Might be. UNC, like, if any other team who can hit threes consistently against that stretch for UNC would have beaten UNC. But UNC, A, gobbles up boards like it's nobody's business, but B, just had another big team who was bad at shooting threes, and that's as lucky as it is to hit that game-winning shot.
Kennedy Meeks was incredible on the boards.
Yeah, he was
just phenomenal. I mean, the effort, the always being where he needed to be. What did he end up with, like 19, 20 rebounds? Like that was one of the best. And they were really aggressive. They came at each other. I'm surprised there weren't more fouls. They allowed them to play through a bunch. Mm-hmm. But De'Aaron Fox had foul trouble early.
Whoa, Raymond, more fouls. They were getting called for everything. Kentucky, I mean, Calipari had a lot to gripe about with, Monk in foul trouble, De'Aaron Fox in foul trouble. I think there were a lot of instances where they could have called it, but they didn't because it was super aggressive.
Yeah, down low. I agree with Rain Man. Down low, they were letting a lot of calls go and just letting the boys play.
That's true. Okay, yeah, I agree. It was a very physical game, and there's definitely a lot of crashing on the boards, a lot of banging, bodies banging on the boards.
Bodies banging. Nothing like some good post play on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh, absolutely not. And I thought Kentucky was going to take it when that big lumberjack they had off the bench who kept on making those shots. That white dude.
Oh yeah, the Australian.
Is that it? Oh, Humphreys? I think his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just kept on. He was making all these mid-range jumpers, looking like he was like Luke Herringoody or something like that. And next thing you know, Kentucky's on top, and then Luke May, not Sean May, Luke May, with the game winner.
Yeah. There's a video circling around the internet of some bar that I assume is in Lexington of a bunch of Kentucky fans going absolutely nuts when Malik Monk gets that shot. And and then seconds later, just everyone's just pissed. And it's pretty damn funny. But
that's exactly how North Carolina fans felt last year.
Yeah. And did you see have you guys watched the video of Bam, Ian Badeo, and De'Aaron Fox after the game?
Yeah. I saw the retweet or the tweet of De'Aaron Fox cries with his teammates. And then Lonzo Ball immediately.
I don't soften up for much, but that gets me every time, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that was those guys cared, even though they won't be there next year, but they cared.
Yeah.
They cared.
Well,
and, maybe this motivates them to stay. Who knows?
Never.
How much money does Calipari have to spend? That's the question.
Not enough to.
He's got to pay the new kid. He's got
to pay the new kid
SAT
too.
Scores to change. That shit ain't cheap.
Yep, that's true. Calipari's he's making a lot though. Maybe Kentucky can up his salary a little bit.
That's true. That's true.
Right. It's all business. It's a business, right?
All right. Well, gents, final 4 picks. Let's do it.
Okay, these are going to be right this time.
These have to be right. They have to be so right. So strap on your dancing shoes, boys. We're going.
Okay.
Oregon, UNC. Divock, lead off.
Making me lead off. Oh, okay. I will take. I'll take UNC.
Rain Man, I know who you're choosing here, but say it anyway.
Yeah, I'm picking UNC. I have them winning it all, so I'm going to continue. I think that they have a solid all-around team.
Well, you haven't winning it all?
Yeah, I always have.
No, you didn't. You changed your bracket.
No, I did. I've always had him.
No,
He
you
did
had-
have UNC.
You had UNC.
I've said that from the beginning.
We have notes to confirm.
You had Minnesota. That region. I remember specifically the first.
Sure you didn't have Purdue winning?
Sure, at Purdue. Rayman, we peer pressured you into taking Middle Tennessee State to win it all. Remember that?
Hey, peer pressured me for Purdue would beat Kansas, and
And
I was
Princeton.
stupid enough to Princeton, but like I still had them losing the next round, so I didn't care as much. But still, I'm the only one that had UNC winning it all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it.
I've like strategy tells me after what I saw between the two teams tells me to pick Oregon, but being that this UNC team just keeps cranking out boards and close wins and big wins, I have to. I don't think that Oregon can handle the bigs down low, and just scooping up all the boards that they do. I have to take UNC, especially because so much of this team was there last year, and they're hungry just like Oregon's hungry, but UNC was that much closer to winning the whole game, the whole thing last year. So I'll take the Tar Heels reluctantly.
Now, what I will say, Shake and Bake, is every game is an independent entity.
That's
Every
true
single
too.
one.
That's true.
So you would have said, Oregon looked great last game. Well, Kansas also looked great the game before too.
True.
So you gotta.
You're not wrong, but I think experience wins out here. So much of this UNC team was here in the same position last year, and they know what they're doing. Roy Williams knows what he's doing.
The strength and length that they have, I just don't think that Oregon can compete.
I think Oregon can compete. I don't think that they can win based on what I know about the two teams.
Right. No, I mean by compete, I don't think they can win.
All right.
Also, Oregon's coach is named Dana. So
He is named Dana. That's true.
It was really fun when Dana Jacobson was interviewing Dana Altman after the game. It was like meant to be. I should have seen that coming when I picked my bracket.
Shit. We all should have thought of this.
Right. I'm sure there's some chick out there named Dana who just picked Dana Altman and the Ducks to go all the way.
Smart lady. Hopefully you'll be in a lift with her someday, Divock. All right. The Carolina Gamecocks and Gonzaga. Who you guys got?
So we could have a border battle between North Carolina and South Carolina. We could. Who would have thought that? If you would say North Carolina would play another Carolina team, you'd probably think Duke, right? But
yeah. You might think UNC Wilmington before you'd say.
You might UNC Wilmington.
I had UNC Wilmington going further than South Carolina.
So did I.
You might have had North Carolina Central breaking out of the playing game and beating Villanova, going all the way. But so we got Gonzaga or South Carolina. I think this is where the run ends for South Carolina. It's Gonzaga's year. I'm taking Gonzaga.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm taking them. Just size, experience on the team, talent, offensive balance. As we've alluded to, South Carolina doesn't let in a lot of threes, and they play some great defense. But Gonzaga is a multi-dimensional offensive team, and so I think that's going to really help them out against. And they have survived a team like Press Virginia, and so when I think that they see a lot of the in-your-face defense that South Carolina will play, they will be prepared for it.
And I'm not picking against Sandor Clegane, the Mountain.
I honestly think I agree. I'm going to pick Gonzaga too. I think they're well-rounded. I think that they can break through. They have talented backcourt that can break through press or and make their own shots. But also, they have all-around offensive game. They can go inside to out. They can go outside to in, and they were raining threes. So, I think that
you love your threes.
Mm-hmm.
What was John Stockton's career 3-point percentage right, man? Off the top of your head.
It's around 35%.
Dear God,
Ray, man. 35.
Is that on the Ben McAdoo sheet?
No, he wasn't. He didn't really qualify much for the Ben McAdoo sheet, to be honest. The 3-point revolution happened after Stockton.
Well, at least you're honest. Well, guys, we all just agreed on an entire Final Four. So this is kind of boring. So I think it's time for that.
No, we didn't pick a champion.
Oh, do we want to do champions? All right, we're fine.
Of course we want to do champion. Come on, we're doing champion here.
Fine,
you know
fine.
who Rayman's going with. All right.
Yeah. All right. So Rain Man, you're eliminated.
I'm going to UNC with UNC.
I said you're eliminated.
Go Tar Heels.
No.
Divock, dive in.
I'm going Gonzaga because I don't like Rayman.
Even though Rain Man and I probably just had our best day in our friendship and our partnership, and we agreed pretty much the entire table here, I am also going to go with Gonzaga because I think Gonzaga is the only team with enough length and size to compete with North Carolina down low on the boards. And you have Sandor Clegane. Like, what the hell more do you want?
The Mountain.
Yeah, I think that as far as like matchups go, Gonzaga is probably the best matchup left for taking down North Carolina. North Carolina. And I, like I said, I believe it's just their year. They're on it. They're on top of it. They want to have that trophy, and not that North Carolina doesn't after last year. Just a different feel about it, I guess, simply because they haven't been there before.
Why not Gonzaga? Why not?
I mean, hell, if Clemson can beat Alabama, Gonzaga can beat North Carolina. It's the same.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Gonzaga. Let's do it. Well, Gonzaga Bulldogs, baby.
Lock it in.
Well, good table, everybody.
Yeah. Well, the table is adjourned.
What are we going to do now is no college hoops on this week until
I'm going to be really bored.
Because we're all the biggest college hoops fans now.
It's true. It's the time of year to be a college hoops fan. We need more.
For a whole, 25 days now?
Yeah.
What's
we need more.
Yeah. We need.
Yeah, and then it switches to NFL draft, which
is great.
I know that could shake and bake all. Ready.
Wow.
I think you underestimate how much I love the draft too.
Shake and Bake loves the draft.
I know, but I feel like Shake and Bake, we have to do a draft.
We can do that.
We'll do a draft.
We can dive on into anything you want, Rain Man. We'll make a Ben McAdoo sheet for us, and we'll dive on in.
All right, sounds good.
You're the only one with stationery of that size, so.
And a laminator.
Exactly.
You do have a laminator.
That was
with your tennis racket microphone, whatever you were playing. But we got I'd also like to wish a happy birthday to the White Mamba, Brian Scalabrine. If you're listening out there, Brian Scalabrine, you were the best garbage time player I've ever seen. And
all hail Brian Scalabrine. He's part of the Ginger Empire. I respect him more than anyone else.
You should respect him. Him and
Matt
him or
Bonner.
Andy Dalton.
Bonner
too. And Matt Bonner's
Matt Bonner's just great.
You mean Todd McCullough's not in the running for that?
He's not a true ginger.
Come on.
I know he's not. I know.
Get out of here, Rain Man, with your stupid fake ginger people.
Yeah, well, Rain Man, now that you killed it, we're killing it. Night, folks.
Night.